To this week's edition of ExecCraft, and we are going to be covering the one thing that AI will never, ever be able to steal from you, and that's relationships. Relationships are probably the most important asset that you will have in life, not just business, but certainly also in business. And I know that many of you are thinking, we've all heard the stories of the people that are in relationships with AI. And these relationships do exist, but they are superficial. I'm not talking about superficial relationships. And you may be able to con yourself for a little while that those relationships are more than superficial. But it's innate in all humans to understand that you are speaking to a robot. And at some point, that relationship just won't be enough because it can't give any more than it can give on day one. Relationships are what makes the business world work. And if you think back to banking and how it existed and the money markets, it all started from relationships. And whilst today much of that has been put into AI and much of that has been put into automation from banks and policies and procedures, relationships are still at the very heart and core of what matters. And I'm going to tell you a little story. I invested in a falafel brand called Falafel Love. It was started from a kitchen during COVID by Imbal Hagag, who wanted to make falafel for her family because she was looking for something that was healthy, that was plant-based, that she could serve to her husband and kids. And she did. And then all of a sudden people wanted to buy the falafel from her because it took a long time to make. It was very difficult. It only had 5 very fresh, very clean ingredients. And after a while of selling this locally, she expanded to a small commercial kitchen where she would hand roll all these falafel balls. And based on relationships, she would then go out and sell these to the local stores. And the business grew. And then she was looking for an investor, really a factory, someone who could build her out a line. They call them co-packers in the CPG, consumer package goods industry. And she went to hundreds and hundreds of factories and they all turned her down. And I would say, look, we're going to have to build our own factory. No one's going to back a small kitchen startup with a big factory line. And she insisted that they would. And I'm happy to report that I was wrong. She finally found a factory. And how did she do it? She met with the owner. She met with the owner's daughter. She told her story. They begin to like her. They begin to trust her. They begin to believe this is a hustler, someone who can get it done. And they started watching her and they started to see that she was getting into Wegmans, that she was getting into Stop and Shop. And in the end, they invested in her by building her an entire line within their factory. And what did they ask for return? No money whatsoever. It was built on relationships. It was built on trust that she would grow with them and continue to use them. And just through manufacturing for her, that they would be able to get a return on investment. This is why relationships matter. AI couldn't have ever built that relationship. And relationships, like I say, are built on trust. And there's a lot of research. There was a Gallup poll that showed that if you trust your boss, you are 10% more productive at work. And that if you are friendly with your team and you have trust in your boss, you're actually 45% more efficient in your job, which is really crazy because we talk about bringing multi-million-dollar projects into the workplace through AI and automation to gain like 15 to 20% efficiency. But you can see 40+% efficiency from trust, from relationships, from friendships. And relationships matter. They matter not just within your supply chain, but they matter within your clients. I remember as a young salesperson, and I was selling beer to pubs in England for Coors brewers. And I would go round, and rather than just sell, I would sit on the bar first and I would order a beer. And then I would ask to speak to the owner. And quite often in these small pubs in the UK, the owners actually work there, and often they're actually serving the beer to you. And I would get talking to them about the different beers and which ones sell best, and I would be collecting all this information. And only then, when I felt that I had begun a relationship, I would say I work for Coors. And I wouldn't say that I was a salesperson. I would just tell them, listen, I think I can get you a really good deal if you put our beer line up in your free house. And a free house just means a pub that's not associated with the brewers. And I was, after less than 9 months, the top salesperson for Coors Brewers in the UK. And it was through relationships. And I did this even in the defense business that I ran. And that's a government contracting business. We would fly in to all these war zones. We would meet with the generals. We would meet with the people on the ground, and we would get them to trust us. We would get them to see that they can call us any time of the day or night on our cell phone. And when they did call us, we would answer and we would figure it out. And we were going up against Jacobs and Raytheon, multi-billion-dollar companies. And they would just give us small bits of business. But within 3 years, I built it from zero to a $20 million business on the scraps from Afghanistan and Iraq and Syrian war. And we did human intelligence, so it's pretty exciting work, but it required great deals of trust. And sure, we still had to fill out RFPs. We still had to price competitively, but we understood the pain points that the marketers also understood better than other people in the industry, because we were out there, we were understanding it, we were seeing it, we were gaining credibility, and we were gaining confidence. So much to that point that Raytheon would come calling and say, let's partner up, and then we could start growing it that way. And we agreed with Raytheon that if we partnered, we wouldn't bid separately. And again, that was a trust-based relationship, something that just simply cannot exist in AI. And then you also have trust with your workforce. And I can't tell you how many times I've heard from people in our workforce who have told me that they like working for the big word, not because we're the best payers, or they like working for a Woodley Capital, not because they're the best payers, but because they like the fact that they can rely on us, they can trust us. I do these all-hands meetings where hundreds, sometimes even thousands of people join the all-hands, and they can ask anything, and they can even submit anonymously questions, and we answer them. And these aren't CEO spin answers. These are real, hard, honest answers. And people love it because they feel, and it's true, that they can get an honest answer out of someone in the C-suite. And that is a rarity. Usually it comes with spit and polish and a lot of theater and bravado. But with us and in the companies that I operate and I invest in, I insist that we have strong and honest relationships, which are often harder to have with your workforce in the short term. But in the long term, people can get behind you. They can understand you're a wonderful place to park their career in. And even if they're not going to get the best pay, they're not going to get the worst pay. They're going to get a fair pay, but we're going to look after their career. We're going to see them through promotions. We're going to deliver training. And that all gets paid back in relationships and trust. And every time you lose someone, you have to go to the cost of recruiting someone. And that's a very expensive process. And then you've also got to go through the cost of competency, because people don't walk into your business and they're not just 100% competent on day one, even if they've done it before. You have your own way of working, you have your own software, you have your own procedures and operating policies, and they've got to learn it all. So if you can maintain your workforce through trust, through relationships, it's going to save you money and it's going to make you more efficient. And the best thing about all of this is AI cannot take it away from you. So if you like this content, I ask that you give me a thumbs up, make my day. Put a comment on there. If you don't like the content, please put a negative comment. They all help me one way or another. I want to learn. I want to hear back from you. And don't forget to subscribe. But remember, as you hear this, please go away. Make a concerted effort to strengthen your relationships, to build new ones. You're going to need that at any level of any organization in order to compete with the computers and the bots of AI. Thank you very much. You've been watching ExecCraft. I'm Joshua Gould. Have a great day.